How's it going, everyone? This is Soul Cinched here, and welcome to the first episode in a new series I'm doing called Rappers Ranked: The Good and the Bad. Now, I want to do a quick shout out to YouTuber CDTV Productions because this is actually a series of videos that he does. He calls them worst rappers in the game, and he's one of my favorite hip-hop YouTubers. I would really recommend checking out his content, subscribing to him, all that good stuff. He makes great videos. Shout out to him. Now, recently, CDTV Productions changed the format of the way he does these videos, and I personally preferred the old format. So I figured, hey, I can just start making them myself using the old format. Plus, it's just a fun way to break rappers down and give my own opinions, as there are some rappers that CDTV Production had covered in the series where I disagree on certain things that he has said. Now, the way these videos are going to work is each rapper is going to be broken down, each rapper that I cover will be broken down into 6 different categories: voice and delivery, flow, lyrics, production/beat selection, originality, and overall enjoyment. And they will be given a score of 1 to 10, of 0 to 10 on each category, meaning they could get a potential 60 out of 60, or if they are the worst artist to ever exist, a possible 0 out of 60. Though it's almost impossible, though it would be almost impossible to have 0 in every single category. And the first 5 categories are going to be mostly objective, like mostly objective criticisms or praises, with some of my personal opinion thrown in, because once again, music is mostly subjective, but you can give objective criticisms where they're due. However, the 6th category is purely based on my enjoyment of the artist and enjoyment alone. So an artist can have fairly high scores in the first 5 categories, but if I just ultimately do not like their music at all, they could receive a very, very low score in enjoyment. So that's how this video is going to work. Now, before we get started, I'm going to have to introduce the rapper we are talking about today. And that rapper is Bryson Gray.
I'm a gun-toting patriot, God-fearing patriot. Bryson, why they mad? Cause I'm real and they be faking it. Free speech advocate, it's on my mind, I'm saying it. I'm about to...
So if you couldn't tell by that short little snippet, Bryson Gray is a MAGA rapper, I guess. Or he is a Christian conservative rap. And yes, Christian conservative rap is a subgenre. I'm not kidding, there's actually multiple artists that are in this area. It's like kind of like conservative rappers have kind of made their own little subgenre of rap that is what it is. Bryson Gray is one of the most known out of all of them, and the one that I'm most familiar with. And I personally, I'm not going to spoil it, but he's the one I'm most familiar with. So, to start off this series, I figured why not talk about a rapper I've never talked about before on this channel. At least, I don't think I've talked about Bryson Gray. I don't recall talking about him in a previous video unless I just mentioned him. But he is who I'm going to be talking about in this video. Also, just want to get this out there, Bryson Gray is a Christian conservative rap, so a lot of his music is religious based and politics based, and a lot of it is extreme conservatism. So if you are liberal or religious, I would recommend clicking away from this video if you're easily offended, because some of the stuff Bryson Gray says, he has no filter, he is not afraid to share his opinion to the max, doesn't sugarcoat anything, so there is a chance that you will find some of what he says offensive. However, if you are a conservative and really enjoy Bryson Gray's music, you might want to click away from this, because I'm probably going to offend you, because I am not conservative. I'm just getting that out there right now. I am not conservative. And I am agnostic. I'm not a super religious person. I'm much more agnostic. So yeah, but if you're cool with just listening to one man's opinion and hearing another man's opinion, then watch this video. But without further ado, let's get straight into this.
And look what they did to Ye, they want everything. JP Morgan banned his account, but they do Epstein. They care more about Kanye West than they do sex rings. It's like you only have free speech if you left one.
So for this first segment, voice and delivery, we're going to be looking at Bryson Gray's voice, how it sounds and how he uses it. And Bryson Gray's voice is not great, not terrible, but just kind of okay. My main issue with his voice is it lacks defining qualities. There's nothing about his voice that really stands out, nor does Bryson Gray do anything to make his voice stand out. He just raps in his normal speaking voice, which is fine, but it just lacks. There's nothing to really say, there's nothing to write home about. Like I said, his voice isn't annoying, he doesn't really have any annoying qualities, apart from occasionally sounding a little nasally, but not enough to really turn me off. But there's just nothing that really defines his voice, nothing that makes it stand out. So I was originally thinking of giving him a 5 or a 6. But there is one aspect of his voice that is so goddamn awful that it just drags his score down, and that's his singing voice. I think Bryson Gray is a terrible singer. Don't believe me? Just listen to this.
I can't watch a movie without seeing rainbows. I can't find a male music artist not wearing girl clothes.
Mixing that awful singing with pro-conservative lyrics makes the song sound more like a parody than an actual song you'd want to listen to. And I just don't find that enjoyable at all. Like, most of his music, I could kind of ignore the lyrics and just be like, okay, yeah, whatever. But when he's singing, just, no. No, dude, no. You cannot sing. You're not Juice WRLD or X or Trippie Redd. You can't just stick to rapping, my guy, because singing is not for you. So, while I was originally going to give him a bit of a higher score, because I find his singing voice so bad, it's forced me to really drop his score down. So I have to give him a 3.5 out of 10 for the voice segment.
Said America ain't done nothing for you, okay, but I swear that you went from game banging to a multi-millionaire. Teaching kids they bit them, don't tell them how music got you here. Capitalism is the wine, United States is the where. When the Trump...
Next, we're going to be talking about his flow. And this is undoubtedly one of Bryson Gray's strongest aspects. But again, like the voice category, his flows lack defining qualities. Now, I do have to give him credit because he doesn't really copy other rappers' flows. I've never heard a Bryson Gray song where I'm like, oh, this is such and such's flow, or this flow sounds like this rapper's flow. I've never gotten that from his music. But again, I just find that it lacks definition. His flow is just okay. It's nothing that really stands out, but nothing terrible. Like, you can tell the man knows how to rap. But that's about all I can give him. He knows how to rap, he knows how to flow, but nothing about his flow really stands out to me. So I'm gonna give him a 6 out of 10.
Hey, this is good versus evil. What side you on? Proverbs 17:15, stop justify it wrong. If they won't chapter and verse, okay, we'll stop the song. Proverbs 28, one a hill I'm dying on. Hey.
Here we go. The meat and potatoes. The really, really big thing about Bryson Gray. His lyrics. Now, without a doubt, being a Christian conservative rap, the main aspect of Bryson Gray's entire music career is his lyrics. He is one of those rappers that focuses more on his messages than anything else. That's why his music is lacking in almost every other aspect. Now, if you're extremely conservative and agree with what Bryson Gray says, then you might be fine with his lyrics. However, if you're not and don't know much about Bryson Gray, here are some of the things you can find within Bryson Gray's lyrics. Transphobia.
I'm rocking, can't be trans cause it ain't real. They need a mental asylum, say the
Homophobia.
pride flag for a power, you can swap that. Calvin Klein got trannies in they ass, I can't rock that. Netflix puts gays in every show, I can't watch that. Don't compare me to these Christian rappers cause I'm not that. You better repent or you gon' go to hell. Trannies say we don't accept them, they don't accept themselves. Giving kids cute.
He's anti-mask and anti-vax.
I am not wearing no mask, I'm not taking no vaccine. They tell me I should comply, but I do not know what that means.
And he also makes fun of fat people for no real reason. Because they're fat. Now, I'm not an advocate of the body acceptance movement. I don't really believe in fat phobia because I think that that's kind of stupid. But Bryson Gray has lyrics where he's just bullying fat people for no real reason. It's not like he's having lyrics, you know, trying to advocate for people to be more healthy and lose weight because of the numerous health problems associated with obesity. He just makes fun of fat people because why not, I guess. You've already pissed off a whole bunch of other people, so why not piss off the fat people too? And, you know, not only do I disagree with the homophobia, the transphobia, the anti-mask, anti-vax, I disagree with all that, but that's not the biggest issue I have with his lyrics. The main issue I have with his lyrics is that's really all he has to offer. If he's not talking about politics or religion, he has nothing else to say. Like, those are the only songs he makes. He doesn't really ever deviate from talking about any of those topics. And even when he does, like, the most you'll get out of him is if he makes a song where he just hones in on one topic. Like, a while back, he made a song solely about banning abortion.
How you gonna play the judge and the jury? An executioner, have you ever looked in the mirror? That's probably your daughter in the sky, can you hear? Why did the little child have to die? Did you fear? Let me guess. No responsibility for your actions. Made a mistake and get to throw it away like nothing happened. It could have been the next doctor, next door.
So one of my main issues with his lyrics is that he just only talks about religion and politics, which can be fine, but it just severely limits your creativity and severely limits your demographic, and it severely limits how much diversity you have. It's like a lot of people criticize rappers like DaBaby for never diversifying, for having every song be the exact same. I've even seen rappers criticize Zilla Kami for having such a similar sound in every song. It just all sounds the same, and that's basically what Bryson Gray does. He only talks about religion and politics. And if you happen to not like those things, then there is absolutely no reason to listen to his music. But there's another really big issue I have with his lyrics. Bryson Gray claims that he's trying to preach to people, get his word out, spread the truth because he believes he thinks what he believes in is automatically truth. I'll get into that in a second. But he does it in such a way that it has the opposite effect. Like, he's claiming that he's trying to preach the gospel and preach and try to get people to be conservative and try to get people to become Christians. But he does it in such a hateful way that it honestly turns people away. He has a mentality of, what I believe in is right. If you do not believe in the same things I believe in or agree with what I believe in, you are an idiot and you are wrong and I am right. Which doesn't make people want to be on your side. That makes people hate you. Like, people don't necessarily hate you because of the things you believe in. They hate you because of the way you put them out there. That is the main issue I have with his lyrics, is the way he presents them. And he's also already proven that he has no interest in hearing the other side of a story. He has what he believes in, he believes he's right, and he's not even going to pretend to listen or understand another person's point of view. It's I'm right, you're wrong, and you're an idiot. And believe like I believe in, or you're stupid. That's Bryson Gray. He doesn't even try to look at the other side. He doesn't try to look at, okay, well, this person doesn't agree with me and believes something differently. Why do they believe what they believe in? He doesn't even try to do that. He doesn't even try to understand other points of view. He basically has the worst tunnel vision I've ever seen a person have. There is zero attempt made at understanding opposing viewpoints and zero attempt at actually trying to get people who have those other viewpoints on your side. You're just pushing your beliefs and your feelings so hard that it does the opposite of what you're wanting to do. It doesn't attract people on the other side, it pushes them further away. The only people attracted to Bryson Gray's music are people who already agree with the things he's saying, which kind of makes his music pointless. It's just an echo chamber. So for lyrics, I'm giving him a 1 out of 10. And the only reason I'm giving him a 1 out of 10 is because he has content, he has messages, and he's true to his word. Like, some rappers I feel like just say things because that's what their fans want to hear, but I do genuinely believe that Bryson Gray 100% believes in what he says, and I do have to give him respect for that. I do have to respect the fact that he believes in what he's saying and he's not just saying it for money. But I cannot give him anything higher than a 1 out of 10.
I know that they all doubt me. They'll see the truth in time. 'Cause once we all love to, but you can free your mind. 1, 2.
Production is another area that I feel like Bryson Gray is pretty weak in. Most of his beats sound fine, but they lack definition once again. He has some songs where he just sounds like he looked up tight beats on YouTube to get them. Like he has one song on his Us versus the Industry album that straight up sounds like it would be a beat that Playboi Carti would rap over. And this is an issue I have with several of his songs. I'll hear him rapping over a beat and I'm like, this is a beat that sounds like another rapper would rap over. And when they're not specific beats like that, they're just your very typical, generic, average, mainstream trap beats. It's not like Lil Uzi Vert, or Deco, or Ghostmane, or XXXTentacion, or Polo G, where you hear their music, you hear consistencies within the production they use, and you can hear a beat and be like, that's a beat Polo G would rap over. Or you can hear a different beat and be like, that's a beat Yeet would rap over. You don't get that from Bryson Gray. He has no tight beats, I guess. Like, he has no set production style. Like I said, his production's not terrible, but it's nothing that interesting. Again, like I said before, his main focus is his lyrics, and all other aspects of his music are lackluster. But since he doesn't have downright terrible production, I'll give him a 5 out of 10.
People mad I don't subscribe to their theology. This is what happens when people interpret it privately. Add it to the scripture, then they overly explain. Then they say God is not a concept we can.
Now our next category is originality. And the point of this is to look at how original this artist is, and do they have a specific place in hip-hop? Will they have a legacy? Will they be remembered for something 15, 20 years from now? With Bryson Gray, I don't really think so. While he is one of the biggest names in conservative rap, it's such a niche genre of music that I don't ever see him really being mentioned much outside of the conservative rap atmosphere. And in the conservative rap subgenre, most of the artists are very, very similar. None of them really stand out from one another. They're all just they all just kind of sound the same, to be honest. I mean, they might sound slightly differently from one another, but it's not enough to really have one stand out as different. They all just kind of do the same thing. So I don't really see Bryson Gray as that much of an original artist, especially when you take into the consideration that his lyrics, which are his sole defining quality, his lyrics are just him saying the same extremely conservative talking points over and over and over again. And even that's not that original. And he doesn't really stand out in any other aspect of music, of hip-hop. So I don't see him being that original of an artist, and I don't really see him having that much of a legacy. So I'm going to give him a 2 out of 10.
They say I'm that MAGA rapper, ain't no capper, Bible thumping every chapter. Bought a MAGA chain and bought a AR for the chain snatchers.
And for our final category, we have enjoyment. Now, this is based solely on my enjoyment of the artist. Nothing else. Purely subjective here. I do not enjoy Bryson Gray's music at all. Not at all. Like I said earlier, he doesn't really stand out in any way, and I hate his lyrics, which are his only standout quality. For enjoyment, giving him a big fat 0 out of 10, because I hate his music. I really do. And that pretty much wraps up that.
Aye, liberalism is a mental disorder. That's why they let illegal immigrants cross the border. They keep trying to push the liberal world order. They in public school telling kids to be transformers.
So, as a quick recap, for the voice and delivery segment, Bryson Gray scored a 3.5 out of 10. Flow, he scored a 6 out of 10. Lyrics, a 1 out of 10. Production, a 5 out of 10. And for originality/legacy, he scored a 2 out of 10. And for overall enjoyment, he scored 0 out of 10. For a total of 17.5 out of 60. Not even close to half of the available points. And for those of you that like to see it as a percentage, that's a 29%. Which is pretty low, but that's where we started the series off at. And I'm pretty sure I explained how I felt about Bryson Gray well enough in the other videos, so I don't feel there's necessarily an outro needed. So, yeah. This has been the first episode of Rappers Rank, the Good and the Bad. I am Soul Singed. If you happen to enjoy this video, like, subscribe, comment your thoughts down below, and, yeah. Peace!